and the education. So I'm going to make this video really brief. I just want to show some of what's on the channel so you don't have to dig too far back in the information. But before doing so, I want to say this. In yesterday's welcome, I did say to you, I'm here to teach you how to read the charts without any indicators on them. I only made indicators because I saw the vendors wanting to charge 3, 4, or even more for one indicator. And so I wanted to do something different. I want to give you guys 300 indicators for $100. And so that's my goal here, is to try to turn it on its head. So what's happening in the trading community is really causing a problem. They're making trading more difficult than what it actually really is, and that's my goal, to help you guys get there. Most viewed videos, if you're new to the channel, start with this one. It's the one with the most views. And then the series here, I may even put this video here. I may even actually put this here. We're trying to give you the information before the bar close, what type of bar it will be. So you'll know before the bar even close what to expect. We're going to give you a probability. And then of course the threshold, how far the candle reach back before resuming, and then the price action trend. I only use price. That's it. All right. And then to tell you how far to go, and then that price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. They're forced to do so. The universal chart scale, I'll teach you how to read your bezel so you don't even have to look left. This morning, I put the volume benchmark institution on the page here. And this is what it had looked like at that moment. And we're going to look at this chart. But just take a look at that. All right, if you got to pause the video, that's fine. This is just the climax one. We'll take a brief look at that, but that's that volume benchmark. And then of course I came back here and show what it had done since that high. Okay, show what it had done. This is just one indicator. So when it plots, when the bar closes, it plots. You want to see them take the bars out, of course, absorb them, blow past them, and then not close back in front of them. And of course, when they go up to the high, they can exit on these highs. They may drift a little bit more, but you don't want them closing, operating back beneath that bar. Okay, I just want to go ahead and tell you that they kind of stalled out here for a bit, but they're not closing, they're not moving away. And then of course they came in on the high at the bottom of that range, dropped it back. You get it. You get what I'm saying here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this information really briefly. I got, again, just tons of information here. We've been going over time. So please remember 12 seconds. Okay, 4 seconds, 12 seconds, all right, 17. Remember these numbers. And if you're not familiar with that approach, I want you to go and take a look here. All right, so I want you to come to the channel. We're using information about the clock to know when the market should close the bar, whether it be bearish or bullish. You'll know before the bar even closes. I want you to go back and take a look at that. So I have the time and sales here outlined in seconds. I don't have any color in the bars for us to read it in that manner, but if you would like to watch the time and sales based on the seconds, okay, remember the seconds, you may see it, get aggressive, which is that background lighting up. All right, so you may want to take a look at that again. 17, so 17 seconds into the bar. 43, we're wanting 43, and then 36, we want 36, and then 24, we want 24. We wanted to get to 24, and it should end as a bull bar if it can get it didn't want to do that. So you don't have to, it was there at 36, so it should end green, but we definitely know that they'll come back at us at 24. 17 can form that high or the low, as 43 did. Go back and watch those videos. Please do that. Please do that. All right. It was, of course, green at 36, so they can't end it green. All right, so just, you can take a peek over there to your right hand side, all right, and just watch the seconds if you would like. I know some of you use volume, so I got a couple volume tools here. And again, that was that snapshot I showed you. That's them wanting to break down. Down here at the bottom, I have the volume benchmark position building volume. This comes in bar color, text, several ways to plot this stuff. All right, so what you're seeing here is different. This is the institutional one. This is the volume building one. It's a little bit more frequent. This is just giving you which side they're sitting on. And I just threw our reference in there for the seconds that we're needing to watch, but this is based on your hourly. All right, so you can look in here and kind of get an idea of what to look for on this time and sales over here to the right. If you just look at these numbers, you'll get an idea of what we're talking about. All right, so now what I would do, well, it's not doing it now. But typically, sometimes this text may reach down too far outside of frame, and so what I would do is I would set the bars centered on the chart. I'm not the best at coding, people. I want to go ahead and tell you that. I'm just trying to provide something, so you don't have to spend so much. So just bear with me. All right, just bear with me. I've been adding. I added this morning. So if you want the updates, you're more than welcome to double back. Use the link under the private videos. Under the private video. So if you're on my private playlist, it's on there. All right, so just go to that last video that I put there. If you're not retaining the change, you're probably needing to, of course, advance, a payment for the update, because there's quite a few of them I've made. But if you've recently been added to the playlist, I can assure you it should be there. All right, so I just want to say that because I'm doing a lot of work, people, to try to provide you guys this experience, and I would prefer that you guys understand that. That's all. All right, so several different tools here. What you're seeing with the pressures here, because these are the pressures, I just made them where they float with the bar. Now it's only 7 of them I've done them to. There's more pressures in the list for different timing needs. All right, but here's some of them here, and they're V2s. So if you see up here, they're V2s. All right. And then, of course, that no touch, no close, that's our bar color, the thing that's on the channel where we want the mid of the candle, right? So we want the mid of the candle. I can't draw too much on this, but we want the mid of that candle there to exceed the high, or we want the mid of that candle there. Do forget, I got a lot of charts running. We want the mid of this candle to exceed that low. The next thing we're looking for is our big wick, little wick scenario. So we want a big wick, little wick, and if we can't get that, what we want to do is try to get that body to fit into this candle twice. All right, so that's the foundation of the channel when it comes to getting in there. Now, when we find this is what we're going to be looking for. I'm not going to go into all of this information, but I just want to put it in front of you. The next thing that we're going to be looking for is the distance that it's suggesting that it will go. All right, so that's important. All right, so 48, and they're still beneath it. That's just fantastic. All right, and again, I did a bar timer. Again, I'm not perfect with this stuff. I took and borrowed the code. I must say I did borrow the code, but I alter it. I alter it to color based on your bar. So it's not just a standard color. It's actually coloring based on whether the bar is bullish or bearish. That's why we don't need the opacity. All right, so we don't have to look at the candle and see if it's red or green. You can just look at that bar timer, and that in itself will tell you whether or not that candle is bullish or bearish. All right, so added that in there, and again, I'm not perfect. I just added it in there. All right, now the volume text, there you have that too. Some of you like that. You can have that as well. That's in the playlist. And of course, there's at least 4 here, but again, I've made 7 of them. And then of course the time sensitive bias, a shift, the initial or final, and then our method, the 1743 method, that's on the chart as well. All right, so now I'm going to show you this climax chart just to give you an idea of what they're doing down here at that bottom. I know you kind of see that volume going off. What kind of kick-started this whole move off, we're up here trapping these blue bars. That's bad. All right, first they had the pink, but you're not getting that red immediately. You're not getting that. You kind of wanted to go pink and red. That's all. You wanted to go pink and red, and then you finally got it here. That's pink, there's red, and now they're ready to run. Now this range here, remember our 906, okay, our 906 setup here. So let's do this. 906 204. All right, remember 906, I just projected it forward. For 45 minutes. You're not likely to have them hanging under here by 12 o'clock. All right, it's not happening. Typically they won't spend 2 hours under this that time from the daily. Remember, the daily is the 904. There's another time up there for 7. I can't recall the actual seconds. I mean the minute. I can't recall the minute, but I had already provided you guys the 12:15 a.m., 1:45 a.m. for the overnight, and then the 6:15, 7:45. So it's actually capturing that 7 o'clock time for the daily. It's already getting that, and that's the free information here. So if you want that time window there, I'm gonna put that in front of you so you'll know. Actually, it's not on this chart, but don't worry about it. That's what it is. So just go with that time window. Typically, they will not. 7 o'clock, same thing. Same thing, 3 hours. They got to get away from that range for 3 hours, and that's to be stated here as well. So, can they be under here at 12 o'clock, or will they end up back in this range by 12 o'clock? Maybe not above it, clearly, but definitely just be on the lookout. See if they can stay under there until 12 o'clock, or at least be hovering beneath the midpoint of that range. That'll be ideal. All right, so yeah, that's that dive I had told you guys about on the. Let me just show you this really quickly here. They're still under that price. They're still under there. I gave that price back on the 29th. All right, so back on the 29th, this is yesterday's volume institutional indicator. You can kind of see them down at the bottom there, being real active at 9:30, just acting crazy. You can read all of this if you want. They're picking it up in some very sensitive places, actually dropping it back over and then getting back in it. Not wanting to operate below those green bars is of course the issue. They're coming back in, then they got up here and high, and then all of a sudden yesterday from here they just been tanking. And again, I gave that price. Let me see, can I find it for you really quickly here? Here's those times if you need those times. Those are the times for that range. And again, it's this one that you're really concerned about. Can they stay away from that? It's like 7 something, I can't recall straight away, but you want to keep them away from there if at all possible. That's why 9:30 is such a problem. I just want to go in and say that to you. Where is it at? Where is it at? I don't want to go too far. 750. I told you guys that they'll have a problem up there, and they got just a little bit outside of it, and then they took off to the downside. But again, those are the changes. You're more than welcome to them. So when it comes to the indicators, I want to go ahead and say this to you. First, learn the information on the channel. I have a playlist here on futures trading as well as a playlist on Day Trader Today's channel. The only way you can be on Day Trader Today channel, because it's all private, is that you would have to get the private education. All right, you don't need it. I want to go in and say that to you. You don't need it. That's for those that genuinely have an interest to advance their understanding of the market, where I begin to expose you to other information, just other information. For instance, how am I telling you that the market will turn or have a problem at least of closing before they get to these prices above the market? All right, we've been doing that for like a month. All right, so I'm showing you that I'm in front of price. I'm not just operating at the price level, but just that whole hindsight thing. I heard that word a few weeks ago, and I just want to make sure that everybody here knows what it is that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure you guys don't have to do hindsight. You don't have to do it. I want you not to be looking at the chart wondering what's going to happen based on some prior pivot. This is a little bit more advanced than that. All right, and I just want to say that's why support and resistance doesn't really pan out for most people when they take trades at pivots. It's time-based stuff that we're dealing with. The most valuable thing is the thing at the bottom. It's invaluable trying to time the market, and I want to get you as close as possible to that information there so you can get in your trades and successfully get them to work. All right, so again, pause the video, rewind it again. This is only a handful of indicators I've tried to throw together, and again, I am not a programmer. I'm a trader and an educator. So I only put here what I think should work, the best of my ability of understanding the market. There may be fancier tools out here, all right, fancy, and I want to say fancy because if they're not going to put in context what you need to be looking for, if they're not going to help you understand price movement, all your ribbons and whatever oscillators, I don't use oscillators in my indicators. I want to go ahead and say that outright. You're not going to find not a single line of code in my indicators that deals with some oscillator. Just want to go ahead and tell you that. All right, so I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.